Hi everyone, welcome to the video. In this one we are going to be setting up the Sinden Lightgun with the PS3 emulator, which is RPCS3. So as always, or as in the previous videos, Sinden Wiki is key to give us the information we need. So here it is, obviously links going to be in the description. Down the left hand side here we've got, under the Windows section, we've got emulators. Let's go in here. So as you've seen before, if you've seen my other videos, there's a bunch in here. So far I've done MAME and Dolphin. Today we're looking at PS3. So yeah, RPCS3. It's pretty much the go-to emulator for PS3. I'm not sure it's the only one, but it's it's the main one that pretty much everyone uses. So this is their guide, and it's pretty useful in the fact that it's basically starts as if you haven't got RPCS3 installed at all. It tells you where to download it and install it, etc. and set some bits and pieces. So they've got a game here to test. So yeah, a whole bunch of information here. So what we'll do, we're just going to step through this and then hopefully get everything working. Like I say, I like to do the videos kind of ad hoc without much planning. The only thing I have got, I do already have the emulator downloaded because I've used it previously. I've got my Sinden Lightgun software, but obviously if you've seen other videos, you should have done that already. You should have your Sinden software for Windows already set up. If not, check out my my first video where I do that and set up MAME. And then further down here, the game they use as an example is Time Crisis Razing Storm, which all I've done is download it already and get that added in to the folder that they recommend to put it in. So, but we can go through that when we get to it. So let's follow this down then. So back up here, we've got a few bits we need to grab. So the actual emulator itself, like I say, I've already got this. And just a little thing, if you click on this, it'll open it in this window and you kind of lose where you are. So if you right click and say open new tab, it'll open it in a new tab. So yeah, here's their website, here's the download. Obviously for different operating systems, because we're using the Sinden Lightgun on Windows, obviously I need the Windows version, so you just, it's not too big. Hit download, should take not long to download at all. Then if we go back, there's a no mousey little execute tool, which I haven't actually used before. I've seen mentioned. I'm pretty sure when it runs, it just hides the mouse pointer. It's 13K, it's tiny, so we're just going to grab that as well. Actually, no, we want to grab the actual. We grab the actual thing rather than down individual files and download it as one zip file. There we go. So let's save that. So I've got this light gun collection I'm working on, so I've got a PS3 folder. But where I put the Sinden software is under emulators, because I'm kind of treating that as the emulators / any other tools it might need. So let's put no mousey in there for a minute. I clicked on the link rather than doing right click new tab, so I need to go back a page. There's this daemon tools. I'm not sure this is essential. I think this is a way of, if you wanted to, I think it's for dumping PS3 games and that kind of stuff. There's a paid version with no ads, or a free version with ads. So yeah, this allows you to mount disk images and that kind of stuff, which you may need, but I'm pretty sure in the guide it's not mentioned, but that's the link just in case you want to grab it and you do end up needing it. And then AHK, you may have seen this mentioned, it stands for auto hotkey. It's basically a little application which lets you create little scripts to map buttons to do different things. I think it can scare people off sometimes. I know you need to create a script to do something, but once we get into it, you'll see it's quite simple. It's just it tells it to run a game, and if you press this key, do this, and in most cases, hit the escape key and it'll close the emulator. Kind of basic things like that. There's actually the example down here which we put together later on. So here's the example. We'll go through it, but it basically runs the emulator, launches a game, waits for 1,000 milliseconds, waits 1 second, then runs a no mousey hidden, so hides the mouse pointer. Then does a few bits here, which I think we'll come to. Not quite sure what they are, without reading them. I think it's basically setting the window size to basically allow the Sinden border to appear. Is what that bit's doing, so some clever stuff there. I'm not going to claim to understand it, but I think it's basically making it a full-size window, but not full screen, so a maximised window, if that makes sense. And then it remaps some of the buttons to the actual PlayStation buttons, so circle, triangle, and start, it maps to sort of mouse buttons, etc., and the X button on the gun. And then at the end, it's got a key here defined, so escape. So if you press the escape key, it'll close the emulator process, the RPCS3.exe, and then it will do a kill just in case it doesn't close cleanly. And then I think running the no mouse exe again actually forces it to close, I'd imagine. That's the only reason I can think that can do. And then it waits half a second and then it exits and closes auto hotkey. So I think like running the scripts, people think, oh, it's it's a bit too difficult for me. Obviously other people don't. Some people might be quite easy with this. But yeah, once you look at it, it's quite straightforward. And all we're going to really do is grab this and probably just update the paths of where the emulator is actually located. So anyway, yeah, getting a bit ahead of ourselves. So we downloaded the bits and pieces we need. We've got the emulator, got the utilities. Actually, the auto hotkey I didn't grab, did I? Just start talking about it. I'm pretty sure I've already got it on my machine, but yeah, just come here, hit download. So there's an old version. See, I'd go for the new version, but I'm sure when I've used it before for other bits and pieces, I've got a message saying that the auto hotkey script I was trying to run was written for version 1.1. When it did say that, it automatically downloaded 1.1 for me. So let's go for the latest version and we'll see what happens in this case. So I'm just going to save that into the emulator folder again. So that's my kind of turning into my emulator/tools folder, as I said. So right, we've got that. Let's close out some of this. The only other thing to note as well, also when we get there, one of the first things you do with the PlayStation 3 emulator is actually install the PlayStation 3 firmware, and it's more straightforward than it sounds. If you've ever owned a PS3, you'd normally do an online update to update the PS3 software when Sony release an update. You can do it manually by downloading the update file to a USB stick, plug it into your PS3 and updating it that way. And the emulator uses the exact same firmware. It's not hacked, it's not modified, it's the standard firmware that comes from Sony. So all you need to do is go to the PlayStation support site. I'll put this link into the description. It'll have the latest one listed here. I mean, this one was end of February this year. 4.90 is the latest version. So you just scroll down this page. You've got obviously how to do it over the internet if you've got a PS3 console or using a computer. So this one I've got here. So basically you download this link and you can just see in the bottom left hand corner there, this link links to PS3 updat.pup. It's a couple hundred meg I think, and it's basically just the latest version of the operating system, the firmware for the PS3. So you just grab that, save it off somewhere, and then when you launch the emulator for the first time, you'll need to install it. I'll show you how to do it. I won't go through the whole process because I've already done it, but like I say, download that, you'll end up with a file, probably stick in that emulator folder as well if you want to, or wherever you want. I mean, worth saying that if you've already got a full BIOS pack, so something like RetroBat, for example, that update file will be in that BIOS pack most likely, so you might already have it, but it might be worth just getting the latest one anyway, because yeah, just to be safe. Anyway, right, so now I think we've got everything we need. So for the actual emulator itself, like I say, I've already got mine. Funny enough, it's in the emulators folder. So this is a Lightgun collection I'm putting together. As I mentioned in the other videos, it's just a default install of RetroBat at this stage with some games I'm starting to add into it. So in here, I've got the RPCS3 folder, and then just to launch it manually, we're just going to double click the exe. And as always, oh, tried to resize it and closed it. Just going to bring it into the window. There we go. Because as I have mentioned on previous occasions, on many occasions, my monitor is quite a widescreen monitor with a large resolution, so I tend to record just a standard sort of 1920 by 1080 resolution, so it's easier for you guys to view. So anyway, here's the emulator up and running. You see I've got a few games already. I've already added the game that they mentioned, but obviously I'll show you how to do that. But if you're installing this for the first time, there's loads of other guides out there on YouTube and the internet how to set this up. But one thing you do need to do is do that firmware. So it does say here, download the latest firmware, which is that PS3 update.pup file we mentioned. They recommend put it inside the RPC folder. That's fine. And then when you start it, you basically click File, Install Firmware, and pick the file, and that's it. So you would just open up your software, go to File, Install Firmware, and it'll ask you to browse and find that file. And I think I've probably got it in my BIOS pack. Yeah, there we go. Look, historyupdate.pub, about 200 meg this one. And that was from earlier this year, so that should be 490. That should be the latest version. I don't think there's been a new one since then. Well, not according to their website that I was just on. So yeah, you'll click that, click OK, and it would sit here going saying installing firmware. And you can see here actually I am on 490, so I'm on the latest version, which is good. So yeah, so that's the first thing you need to do. Another thing I'd recommend with RPCS3 is it's quite easy to update. So if you already got it installed, just go to the where is it? Check for update, and so yeah, they do update it quite regularly. So my version is 37 days out, so not too far. But if you just hit yes to update, it does it within the app. You don't have to download anything manually. It goes off, downloads it, and extracts the files, and I think it then just restarts, possibly. There we go. I'll now restart and go too big. Right. So there we go. So that's basically up to date. We've got the latest version now as of making this video, and obviously I'd recommend doing the same as well, unless you're installing for the first time and you're going to have the latest version. Yeah. So let's go back to here. So we've done that. Now we need to go the first thing actually is I've started the Sinden software for the gun that's running. I'm just going to click start to actually get it running. And obviously as soon as that, the mouse starts jumping about, because obviously the gun emulates a mouse. So it was pointing at my leg, and now we can see it's I'll just turn on the border, which again you can't see because it's outside of outside that little window. And I'm just starting to run over the cable with my chair. It's not good. So anyway, there we go. You can see also the real picture on the left, and then the picture the gun sees, you know, the software working out where the white border is on the right. So yeah, we're all working, we're all good. And then I'm just going to point it down at my leg so it goes black, so it doesn't doesn't start making my my mouse jump about. So let's just minimize that out of the way. So we've got that running. Okay, so let's go into the emulator. Oh, actually, I'm just going to turn off the border so I can see. And again. Okay, right. So let's go back to the emulator. Just make it a bit smaller so I can kind of see the guide and that side by side. Okay, so let's go into the config button on the toolbar, and then it says click on the I/O tab, change all settings to match the following picture. So you can click on these, make them bigger, which is very handy. So on I/O, so we've got null, mouse handler null, mouse handler mouse, single threaded, enable background input. So there's a few more options here. Maybe this is taken from an older version, maybe, I don't know, but let's keep that as it is. Camera input, we're going to go for the PSI. Camera fake. Default, no. And of course I can't quite see that, so we've got null, visual buzzers, null, null. Null user, null, null. There's a few bits here I'm not going to change, so let's just hit apply. Save. Let's go back to the actual guide. When you click on the picture, it opens it in a new page, or in the same tab, but separately, if that makes sense. So we've done that one, and now we go to the advanced tab apparently, and exclusive full mode is preferred borderless full screen. Okay, so back into config. If I'd come out of it, we go to advanced, and then exclusive full screen mode. Exclusive full mode is preferred borderless full screen. Now we do apply and save. Now click on the pad icon on the toolbar. Okay, make sure the button assignments on the controller do not conflict with the Sinden software button assignments or your script. Okay, so what have they got in here? They've got keyboard. Handlers, keyboard, device, keyboard. Let's just have a look at this. So keyboard, up, down, left, right, WAS. What else have they got? F and G. We've got insert, delete. Don't think that's going to conflict. So they've changed it all. I've got page up, enter. I think we're good. I don't think we're going to conflict or anything, but what they're referring to is in the Sinden software. There's a whole, there's 4 buttons on the gun and a D-pad, and obviously the trigger and the reload mechanism. They obviously correspond. The Sinden software maps those to keys or mouse buttons. So that's what they're talking about. So it's saying that in the Sinden software you must assign a button to middle mouse, which I'm pretty sure is there by default. So we open up the Sinden software again, and then it's under button assignment. So yeah, we've got mouse left, mouse right. So they've got the front left as middle mouse, I've got the rear left. So that's obviously if you've got the gun pointing towards the screen, you've got the 2 buttons on either side. So you've got sort of left front, left back, and then the right front and the right back. That's kind of how they refer to them. So I've got middle mouse as the rear left. So whether that's going to differ from their script, we'll check. But we'll find out in a minute. I think most of these are default. So I've got mouse left, mouse right. And obviously you've got the 2 different columns here. So this is when you're pointing the gun at the screen. This is when you're pointing the gun off the screen. I think for the majority they're all the same, apart from the front right button, which is 1 and 5, which is kind of useful in MAME, because so when you point at the screen and press that front right button, it's going to send key 1, which by default in MAME is the player 1 start button, and then when you're pointing off screen and you press the same button, it will send key 5, which in MAME by default is player 1 insert coin, insert credit. So that's quite useful. So they've got that here already. And obviously the rear right button is to turn the border on and off, or toggle through. Does a full screen border, a 4x3 border, or off. So they've got a few different buttons here. So they're saying when you point off screen and press the right D-pad, it does escape. So that's probably handy, because again, as you saw earlier in the script, the AHK script, pressing escape would close the emulator. So if you've got a keyboard connected to your PC that running this on, that's fine, you just hit the escape key. But if you're going to run it in a arcade cabinet or something where you don't have a keyboard attached, you might want to change that. So I'll probably do that just to test it. So when I'm pointing at the screen, it is right. The right D-pad is right. When I'm going to point off the screen, it's going to be. Let's find the escape key. Where do you think it's going to be? Right at the bottom. I miss it. There it is. Yeah. So basically, when you change anything in Sinden, you've got to hit save. Yeah, to basically save it. So the other one they've got as well is they've got the rear left doing different buttons. But we'll see. Because the trouble is, obviously they've got these settings here for what they're using it with. But obviously I've already mapped my buttons inside MAME for different things. So I don't want to change this too much. I mean, I know that D-pad one I'm not using inside MAME. So yeah, I don't want to play with the rest. So we'll see what happens and see if we need to tweak them at all. But basically, I think we're all good for the moment. And those buttons we've got in there, I don't believe conflict with any of these buttons here. Yeah, it's kind of D-pad. Well, I mean, D-pad obviously does. but maybe that's fine because they've got it here. So anyway, right, let's just try it and see what happens. So we basically set those like that. Okay, that's cool. Let's save it. At least twice. Please consider adjusting configuration. And home. Button home was, so it's home there. Oh, home there as well. Why would you have the same button? Basically, you have the same button mapped twice. That's by default. I don't think I've changed any of this. So, what have they got it under? So they've got home there, but they've got Q and R and E and T. Okay. Maybe let's do that then. Cool. Save any issues. Let's just copy them. So this one we're going to make Q. That one we're going to make R. So I'm literally just, as you see, clicking in here. Can't quite see it again. ET. ET. Oh, Dell has been delete key here and delete key here. Right, F and G. An F in something. Right, I'm just going to copy their one for like for like. This is getting too frustrating now. Right, move out of the way so I can see both side by side fully. See that one. Right, this side's fine. Up, down, left, right. WSD, that's fine. So I can drag this over a bit more because I don't need those ones. Right, finally see them side by side. Okay, so they're fine. Go, and then we've got the N backspace. ET we've done. Oh, it's all completely different, isn't it? V Z. X. Page up. Page down. Home and end. Right. That's copyright. You can't moan now. Awesome. Right, we got there in the end. So also I changed the keys quite a bit there. So obviously it's going to work with the light gun. What it'll do when you try and play a normal gun with the controller, I'm not quite sure because now we've done all the keyboard mapping. So what's quite, I guess, is have two copies of the emulator. So I've got this in my light gun collection, so I'm only going to use this version of the emulator for for light gun games. So setting the controls like this obviously shouldn't be an issue because I'm just using the gun. If I want to use normal games from the PS3 with the pad, I'd probably just have a separate. I have got a separate games collection, separate instance of RetroBat, which has got a separate instance of the emulator. So maybe have a separate emulator and then configure that to use joypad instead rather than keyboard like this one's set. Just keep them separate, so you've got one version for light guns, one version for everything else. But anyway, I might be jumping ahead of myself. Let's just see how it works. So we've done that. Okay, so okay, that's all good. The X button is the middle mouse button and should have mapped in the Sinden software as above. So again, talk about Sinden software. So maybe we should make this match as well. Exact. Mouse left, mouse right. This is only going the other way, isn't it? So let's do mouse middle. Just to make it all match. I might have to go back into MAME and remap. But we'll see. One border, left, right, up, down. And then this side we've got right mouse, mouse middle, and then they've got return. Turn. F5 border and left down, escape up. Right, that's all good. So it now matches. Hopefully we won't have any issues. So our Sinden mapping now matches what they've got. Like I say, I'll check those buttons in my main mapping. Might have to change those, a couple of them, but we should be good. Anyway, so that's taken far too long, but we've got the controls map now. Got those couple of options set around the screen size and the mouse setup. We've got all this set up as it is. Excellent. Okay, so this is where they come down to using the game. So they're going to show you how to set up Time Crisis Razing Storm. So if you haven't got this game, I'm going to show you a really good place to get some games. Obviously, it's up to you. I'm not going to force you. It's you know, your choice. But do a quick search for Vim's Lair, and you'll find vim.net. You can see PS3's there. But if you go to the main page, and then go to the vault, and then here you've got a whole bunch of systems. And we've got PS3, all alphabetically sorted. It gives you sort of the top downloads, recent uploads, and best rated games. But if we go to T, scroll down the list, and we've got Time Crisis Razing Storm. And if you click on each one, there's an American version, European version. You see the American version has got this. So all the PS3 games have the kind of unique code to identify them. So that's unique code for this one, but you can see in their example, it's the BLUS. I guess this Blu-ray, or maybe, I don't know, US, and then a unique code. So that's not the one. I mean, that one might well work, but just to keep everything exactly the same, it's this. You see, it's the US version. BLUS 30528, and then just click download it. It's 10 gig, it's quite big, comes down as a zip file. And then once you've got that, you come back here. Once you've got that zip file, inside it should be kind of this folder structure. So PS3 game, PS3 update, and then an SFB file. So all they say is go into your emulator folder, wherever it might be. So here's my RPC folder, and the way the emulator kind of works, it kind of emulates like the PS3 hard drive, because the PS3 had an internal hard drive for storage for games that you can install and cache games off disk. So it just says come in here, make it a bit smaller, and you go into the dev_hdd0 folder, and then in there there's disk. If that disk doesn't exist, just create a folder matching that. You can always highlight, copy and paste to make sure you've got the name right, and then in that folder, that's where you put the PS3 game and that. Also, they've got an update folder, which we haven't got on that version we downloaded, but it does say in here that this is version 1. Don't update it. Yeah, do not update the game, leave it as version 1.0. So the fact that we haven't got an update folder doesn't really matter, because that's fine. So yeah, grab the stuff downloaded, put it into that folder. Create this folder doesn't exist. Place those, it says 3 things, but in our case it's 2 things: the PS3 game and the PS3 SFB file, into that folder. Now it says go into, I'll bring it back up. It says go into that folder, PS3 game, user directory. Now it says copy and paste the self files PS3 game user directory, copy and paste self files and then into the user folder are located in. Okay, it says go into the DSP folder. It says copy and paste. We're not going to move it, we're going to copy, paste. copy, drop a level, paste. Game 2. Because those who haven't played this game, this is kind of like a 3-in-1, 2-in-1. It's got Time Crisis, Razing Storm game, then it's got Dead Storm Pirates as a separate game, and then I think the original Time Crisis 4, all on the same. So when it boots up, you get the choice of which game to play. So this is why you've got the SP Dead Storm Pirates, and then you've got the 2 Time Crisis 4 games. Yeah, Time Crisis 4, Time Crisis Razing Storm, and the Pirates, Dead Storm Pirates. So for some reason you need to move those, copy them up there. It's a bit of an odd one. I've not done it before, but we trust them. So that's it. Fix for white screens. I'm not sure that's going to affect us, but I guess we can set it just in case to stop it happening. So I guess we go to config, GPU, enable white color buffers option. White color buffers. Fine, save. Okay. Okay, so accurately calibrate your gun, aim just outside the targets and pull the trigger as shown below, otherwise your aim will be off during the game. When you're satisfied with the calibration, press the triangle button to confirm. Next, press the circle button to exit the calibration screen. Note that the triangle and circle buttons can be remapped in the script sample below. Okay, so it's made it a bit bigger for you. It's basically saying that when you start the game and get the calibration screen, basically shoot above, below, left, right, centre. So we'll hopefully remember that when we come to it. Not quite sure, but I guess that's just an odyssey, or oddity, shall I say, of the game. Okay, yeah. If you start the game and that's not working, make sure that you're in the settings within the game itself, your controller is set to motion controller 7. I remember actually playing the real game on the PS3 with the PS3 Move adapters, and yeah, I remember you having to set this. Even in the real physical game, you have to make sure that was set correctly. So anyway, okay, so let's go down to this script and we'll actually get to launch a game soon. So to get past the calibration script, I thought Razing Storm, use this example AHK to update the paths. Okay. When you're happy with it, press return, then space. So remember, in the Sinden, return and then space. So the left-hand rear button, we have to do press it off screen, press it on screen. Tricky, but I'm sure we'll find. Oh, now mouse is going nuts again because I've moved it. Okay. Okay, right, let's have a go at doing this script. Okay, so AHK I need to install, so we downloaded that into the emulators folder. There we go. Oh, we've got no mouse in there as well. So let's just double click this. I've got 7-zip, so I'm just going to drag that into here. In the no mouse folder we've got the exe. There's a batch file as well. Let's just see what that does quickly. Is that of interest? Oh, open way too big. Okay, so the batch file does kind of what it does in the script. Runs it with the /hide option. Also, I guess to hide it. Let's close that. Don't really need that. That's just then ready. And then auto hotkey. So let's double click this to run the setup. And close this for a minute. So install for everyone, that's fine by me. Let's get the elevation prompt. I don't really want to do anything. I think I can just close that. I don't need it running because I think once you launch an HK script, it will launch with that at XE. So yes, right. I think we're ready. So basically, let's have a look what it says then. So this is going to help us get past the calibration screen to map those buttons, the return space. So this script will set the games to full screen to allow Sinden board to show up. For time crisis Razing Storm, use the Razing Storm.self. In the launch script, for Deaths on Pirates, use Pirates, etc. etc. In the launch script, note having spaces in your script will cause issues. Okay, so I know the location of where my game's stored does have spaces, so we'll see how that goes. Just gonna move the gun away so it doesn't get in the way. Right, okay, so all we really need to do is, so basically saying we need 2 versions. Well, there's 3 games on that game, so we maybe need 3 versions. So I'm just going to highlight, I think, do Control C, or you can also right click and say copy. I'm then going to just run up Notepad. You could do, I normally use Notepad++, but tell you what, let's do Notepad++. Just easy to read, or you can do standard Notepad. It's up to you. Where is Notepad? Where is Notepad? Notepad++. Okay, so let me just close all the other rubbish I've got open. Okay, so we've got a nice new empty one. Let's just do Control V or right click paste. So now we've got that script in here, and then what we'll do is we just need to update the paths so they match our paths, pretty much. So let's just close this down and out of the way so it's a little bit easier to see stuff. The emulator we can actually now close because the script will launch it. And here we go. Okay, right, so looking through here, so first thing it does is set the directory of where the emulator is. So for me, under emulators, where is it? There it is. So this is my folder. So if I just click in the address bar here, again Control C or right click copy, come back up here, delete this out, Control V to paste that in. Now it does have a spacing because I've called it this. I'm hoping it'll work if I put it in quotes. Normally if you've got spaces, putting stuff in quotes should work, so hopefully that's going to work. And we need it here again, we're going to run the exe, so again if I just replace that bit, Control V, so I'm going to run it from this location. The path gets a little bit longer using my stuff, and then again we're going to replace first portion. Actually, not that twice, do we? So it's going to be looking in there, in that user directory, Time Crisis 4. So this one will be launching Time Crisis 4. And we'll end up making 3 of those scripts, 1 for each of the games. So I'm going to try this with quotes in it, see if it works. If not, I'll just rename this folder here not to have any spaces in it. But I'm hoping I can just put these 2 bits in quotes and that it works. Let's hope so. Okay, again the no mousey bit, we've got that in the same location. So under emulators, I've got the no mousey folder. So that should be right. And then all the rest of this is fairly generic. So sets that to where it's looking for the emulator, it runs the emulator and then launches the game. It waits, I'm pretty sure that's milliseconds, so it waits 1 second and then runs the no mousey tool to hide the mouse. Sets all the stuff around the screen size and screen position and that kind of stuff. So the board can show up, and then it creates some mappings for buttons. So circle button, so with this little character here it shows it's just a comment, doesn't actually do anything, it's just a bit of text. So the circle button is mapped to the space bar, and so when you press the space bar it'll actually it'll press the X button one down, it'll wait a fraction of a second, and then release the button. And then I think the return means it's the end. And then triangle button is going to be right mouse button down, and then actually no, it's pushing two buttons at the same time. Let's do right mouse button down and middle mouse button down, so holding them both together and then releasing them both. And then the start button is going to be the left and middle button both down together, and then wait and then release them together. And as I said before, the escape key, when you press that, it's going to close the emulator process, but then straight away it's going to try and kill it as well and force it, /F to force kill the running task. And then it's going to, I'm pretty sure when you run this again, it forces it to stop. So again, that needs to be updated to our path. So like I say, I've got quite a long path to my stuff. You might, obviously your path's going to be different. So again, I'm going to put that in quotes because it's got a space in it, and hope that works. If not, I can take the quotes out. I'll rename this folder to underscore rather than space. But everything else, I think it's good to go. So I'm going to save as. And what I'll do is, like I said, I'm putting it all in that new Lightgun collection. Copy of Retrobat. So under ROMs in PS3, I'm going to call this Time Crisis 4. AHK auto hot script, and then all we're going to do is make the other two. So if I go back to, actually it does set in the guide, you can find it yourself, find the files themselves, or you can come back to where we were, the Razing Storm. It's that file there. So I'll go back to my notepad and literally go to the end. Just replace Time Crisis 4 with Razing Storm. Now I can do a file save as in the same place, but do Time Crisis Razing Storm, and then I come back again. Dead Storm Pirates. That's the executable, if you like, the program to run. Back here and do that, and then do another save as. Delete all this. Dead Storm Pilots. Okay, right, let's close Notepad for now. In theory, that's it. There's further down. There is another example of a slightly more complicated script, which again I think you could do. Again, just replace the paths to match your paths. Like I say, it's a lot more complex, this one, but basically what it does is it allows you to skip the calibration screen. Otherwise, each time the game starts, you do the calibration screen, which you might want to do, might be fine. But basically, what you do is you run the game, do the calibration, and once you've got past that screen and at the main title screen, you do Control S, and it basically does a save state of, like a snapshot in time of where you are in the game. So basically, you've already calibrated and you're at the main screen, and you do that for each of the games, and obviously it creates a file for you. And then what this script will do is launch the game, but launch that save state. So it basically launch the game for you in the emulator, but then take you straight back to where you were, i.e. past the calibration screen and straight to the main title screen of the game. So obviously you could have a look at this. I'm not going to do this today because it looks a bit more involved. Although, like I say, when you look through it, it's just a case of replacing any kind of file name or paths to match yours. It should work. But obviously, yeah, feel free to have a go. Like I say, a lot of it's very similar. It's just these save state files that it's loading. So you can see, look, run the emulator, no interface. Save state is my game.savestate, and my game is located here, and that's Dead Storm Pirates. So basically basically the example here is you basically do what I did and save it 3 times, but each time just run the relevant game, and they've actually got it here to run it normally like we have in that first script without the save state, or run them with the save state. So like I say, that's something to try if you want to, but I'm going to leave it as it is for now. So anyway, we've finally got to the stage where I think we can launch the game. So let's just go down. So yeah, it's under Lightgun Collection, under ROMs. So obviously if I was adding this into RetroBat now, I'd set RetroBat to look for when it's looking for PS3 games. Normally it looks for the M3U, the playlist files for its games. And if you, I've already got one set up actually for Razing Storm. If you look at the properties of this, all it is a text file which tells it where to look for the game. Obviously that's the folder we were just working in. That's how it works. But what I could do is set RetroBat to look for AHK files and treat those as games. So add them to the list if it finds them. So like I say, we've now got Dead Storm Pirates, we've got Razing Storm, all the script files. So let me grab the gun. And just remember, when we've done a calibration screen, we exit by, it says, so press circle and triangle, also triangle and circle to exit. But it does say in here that you press return and then space. So for us with the Sinden, return and space is the rear left. So that rear left button, we do it off screen and point it at the screen and press it, and we should be good to go. We should get past that calibration screen. So I'm just going to start the border. And again, because I'm in a window, you probably won't see it. But what I will do is just hopefully you'll see. You might, the outside's going to be cut off a little bit, but let's see if this works. So let's go for Dead Storm Pirates first. I think that's my favourite game. So double click that. There we go. Just doing its bits and pieces. Did some resizing there and launched. See, this is one of the things with the emulator. If you haven't used it before, what it does is compiles these modules for the first time it loads. It's something to do with the graphics and the rendering. It's only a one-time thing, so there is actually an option in the emulator to say go and create them all for me. I'll find it in a second, but it's not like compile or PPU modules, and it'll sit there and go through all the games you've got added and pre-compile these for you, so you can actually leave it doing that. Depending on how many games you got, you can leave it doing it overnight or whatever. But yeah, the first time you run a game, it's gonna sort all these modules out. Like I say, it's kind of how the graphics are rendered and how the emulator works. It needs to kind of pre-configure them. So yeah, I think we just need to let this finish. It says 9-10 minutes, so what I'll do, I'll just pause the video there while it does it. If I can get to the pause button. I don't think I can because my mouse is hidden. Yeah, so no mousey tool is working well. I do have no mouse pointer. I don't want to risk trying to, try and pause the video and break something. So I'm going to let it run, and obviously when I edit the video at the end, I'll either fast forward or just chop out this bit. One in there, that took a while. And you notice as well, it gives you a number of the caches or the modules it's going to create, and then suddenly that number jumps up. So you just think it's going to finish, and it jumps up again. So okay, yeah, we haven't played the game before, so we need to create some game data. So X was mapped to something. Okay, I double checked that. And it's mapped to X on the keyboard. Oh, now we've got to wait again. Oh, they're quite quick. Okay, the installation is complete. Obviously, if you had a real PS3, that'll be installing game from the data from the disk onto the hard drive. Obviously, it's a bit frustrating here because we've got it. We don't really need it to copy it again, but that's just the process that it follows. So that's done. So let's hit X. Carry on. Okay, so now we've got game save data. That's fine. And there we go, it's loading. And it's running. So what have I got? Oh, we said no, circle was C, I think. Of course, the time crisis calibration was different to this, but looking, yeah, it looks alright to me. Because my PC's going a bit slow at the moment because it's trying to record software and do this at the same time. So I'm going to do retry because it's not. I think I was too close. So it's circle, isn't it? Spacebar. Right. Let's go back a bit. Let's do this again. Okay, then it's said to hit. It's left 2, isn't it? Off screen, on screen. No, I don't want to do anything. Let's do circle to go back. Okay, right. Let's try use a trigger to start the game. So it seems to trigger if I'm not pointing at the screen. If I point at the screen, it doesn't do anything. If I point down, it's almost like the triggers button is working when I'm off screen. Which is a bit weird. Oh, too close. I don't think I'm in the best place for them. Not in the best place for the gun to work. But it seems to be working so far. It's loading. Yeah, it's a bit judgery. I think, like I say, my PC is trying to record the video and play the game at the same time. But this is just kind of prove that it works. A circle C to skip. Can't remember what the start button was. Come on, I just want to see if it works. Come on. What was start? I can't remember. Game's going to start before I even get there, isn't it? Oh, start was N. Really? There you go. N does skip it. Mouse is moving. Oh, this is the wheel action part. Shame it's running so slow at the moment on my PC. I mean, you can see the cursor moving, so you can see the mouses. I don't think you can hear the audio, it's saying shoot them. Oh, there you go. It is working, it's just very slow on my PC, struggling. You can see me shooting, you can see them getting shot. So it is working, it's just, yeah, I think I need to try it again when I'm not recording, or maybe I need to find a external recording device where I'm trying to record and play the game at the same time, or try it again with the graphics settings turned down a bit maybe. But that is working. So now in theory, hitting the escape key will exit the game, because remember in the script, the escape key closes, and then within the Sinden software we had escape to the left D-pad when we're off screen. So let's try that. Right D-pad, sorry. So there you go, hit right D-pad with the gun pointing down, and it's exit the game. So let me just turn the border off the gun. Get my gun down there for a second. So that is working. Oh, actually, didn't turn the border fully off. There we go. So yeah, let's just. It's set the. I think what's happening in the script, it sets the window to full, doesn't it? And it's set this Explorer window to full size, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, yeah, so like I say, that worked, and like I say, we've got. So I'm just checking this script. So yeah, so it does the mousey bit, and then it tries to grab the window and resize it. But obviously, because I was launching it directly from inside, double clicking the script, it set the Explorer window to full screen. But anyway, it worked. But as you can see, it worked, but it was a little bit slow on my machine. When I say a little bit, quite a lot. So yeah, that's it. That's it working. Like I say, if we go back here, we've got the three scripts we can run for different games. I'm not going to, because it's probably painfully slow, like it was just then. So, but I might try it again. See if I can grab some more footage at the end of the video of actually playing the game at full speed, and just plug that in so you can see it working. But so that, yeah, slightly long video. But like I said, a little bit of setup. But once you've done it, you've done it. Like so, we've got the script now to work, and then I'm pretty sure there'll be some resources online for other scripts like this for different games. I'll have a look for those and see if I can put a link in the description. So, like I said, this is an example script for Time Crisis and Desktop Pirates. So, I don't know whether it's a fairly generic script, to be honest. It kind of does the no mouse. He runs the game, maps and buttons. So, in theory, there's no reason why you couldn't use this. So, yeah, you potentially just use this same script for any game really, for the PlayStation 3, for that emulator. Just obviously replace the path here to the actual game, and it should be good to go. Yeah, and obviously the link to this one I'll put in the description, the actual downloading the game. Obviously this site is good for getting other games. So yeah, that's all good. So yeah, hopefully that was useful. Hopefully it was easy enough to follow. Like I say, the calibration bit obviously for Dead Storm, as you saw, was different to this. But it did seem to work okay for me, even though it being a bit slow. But yeah, and I think that's pretty much, yeah, apart from this other example, like I say, the one to skip calibration, apart from that, that's the end of the of their guide, so that's kind of it. But yeah, I guess apart from that, that's all there's to say. Like I say, they've got that script to launch it and remap those buttons. I mean, if you want to, you can you do it your own way. You can launch the game directly from the PS3 emulator. Just run it. Let's show you that now quickly. Just, you know, they're launching it via script, but I guess you could launch it directly. But obviously, if you launch it directly, it doesn't do the window resizing and doesn't map those buttons for you. But you might find other ways to map those buttons yourself inside the emulator. Normally, what you do is fire up the emulator, and then you'll have the games listed in the main window, and you'll just double click it to play it. Interestingly enough, now it's got because we copied those .self files. So it's picked up twice. It's interesting. So I've got things like House of Sinden on here as well, which I'm going to give a try at some point. Playing with those with the guns, that'd be interesting. But yeah, thanks for watching. That was it. That was getting up and running Sinden Lightgun on the PS3 emulator, RPCS3. Hopefully it's useful. Yeah, if you liked it, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It really helps. I've got a Facebook page where it's easy to chat. Obviously, you can put comments on YouTube. It's a bit harder for me to track. You know, when I see a comment come in, and I can reply to it, but then I don't necessarily see if you reply back. So it's much easier. I've got a Facebook group. I've got a Discord server as well, which is getting quite popular now. So yeah, join either of those. You know, ask any questions, have a chat, make some suggestions, and the next videos, that'd be good. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope it was useful, and I'll catch you on the next one.